everyone, this is Matt. Welcome to a second behind the scenes at the Survive the Night music video. It's just me today. I'm going to talk about some of the special effects and some of the filming that went into this music video. Go check it out on Aurelian's channel if you haven't already. But today we're looking at my After Effects window, and this is where pretty much everything has been done for this. And this is a little image that I made for Twitter. If you haven't seen it on Twitter, go follow us on at FyreUK, and it's on Aurelian's Twitter at Aurelian. So yeah, go check that out. So I made this just super quick. It's actually a mix of a lot of things. The original background color of the crystals was red. So like if I go down here and I turn this layer off, and you see the red comes back in, then if I soloed these two layers, you'll see that it was originally like this, and then the final output was like this. So, you know, I just wanted to change it around a little bit. I didn't want it to be exactly the same as the music video. But anyway, let me jump in and say that I'll be doing some cutaways in this video to kind of comparisons to the original and the original in-game footage, and then the final special effects added footage. And then I'll also be showing like bloopers and different shots and things like that throughout the video as well. So watch out for those. So here we go. We're going to talk about this straight from the beginning. So this is the first shot. You can see our main characters here. Then we've got this crazy little glowing golden skull, which is the kind of the main reason they're down here in these caves, is to come and get this Indiana Jones style. So if we solo this layer, this is what it originally looks like. This is an in-game plate from Minecraft. So if you see it, they start off over here, they walk down this way. You see it renders. I just have this thing where it goes pixelated just so I can scan through it, and then it loads in. So they walk down here and they come up to this skull. And if I actually turn this off, you see the skull, you know, is glowing the entire time. And that's all through a bunch of layers that I've got going on. So I'll go through the layers one by one so you can kind of see how it works. So the bottom layer here I've got is just a particle layer. It's mainly for these dust particles that you see flying around in this room specifically. And then on top of that, I've got the first of the glow layers, and then on top of that, I've got kind of a glow layer for the characters. And then on top of these, I've got all of these layers, which just make this super bright glow. And these are all a mix of radiant blurs and turbulent noises to kind of have some sort of animation going on. And then this null that I've got going on here is a track point null, which tracks exactly to the skull. So then I can apply all the effects in real time to that location in After Effects. And then on top of that, I've got my normal kind of gradients and noise layers, and my curves fixes and color balances and everything, and they all kind of add together to make the the effect that you see in the final video. These are on pretty much every single one of the layers and every single one of the shots. So okay, so moving on is this shot, which is another shot in this like cool treasure room. Again, the original shot looked like that, and this is the final shot. So in the video, we have him walking up to it and then hitting it. You'll see him probably doing some sort of hitting motion right here, there. And we actually slow this down with FPS changes. I shot the entire music video at 100 FPS, and then I slow some things down so that it actually looks more like it's happening in real time rather than the fast motions you see in Minecraft. But again, that's kind of how it looks. Okay, so I've moved on a little bit now, and this is a section where they've just exited the temple. The song's going on now, and there's these two main characters stood next to these blue crystals. Now, the original shot from this is actually quite boring. There's not a lot going on. There's quite a lot of orange in there. It's just a slightly moving shot, so the male character pulls out a sword to start fighting with. He gets a little bit angry, and then he marches off, and the female character follows. A little tidbit, the female character is actually based off Aurelian's skin, who is the singer in the music video, and it's based off her skin and changed slightly to be a little bit less dressy, because her skin is quite dressy. But a couple of notes, the characters that you've probably already noticed have got joints on them, kind of like an animation thing. They've also got facial animations. That is the animated player mod. And I actually used the animated player mod, GLSL shaders, mob dismemberment, Optifine, and Camera Studio to make everything come together with what you see here as kind of a visual style. Now again, with all the effects applied, you know, it kind of adds all this glow. The main bulk of these layers here that I've just selected. Now if I soloed them, they'd look like that, and when they're on the main layer, they look like that. But if I hide them, you know, it becomes quite a boring shot again. these layers are really quite key, and there's color layers in there, there's soft light layers, and the screen layers to kind of all accent the glow and different things like that. And that's kind of how I made the crystals happen. Whenever you see a crystal like this in kind of a cluster, so some of the shots have got, 9, 10 different crystal clusters in, they're all individually tracked to those points. So they all kind of know exactly where they're going, they all kind of are tracked so that the motion of the camera is the same. Talking of which is this shot. Now, I've skipped quite far ahead in the music video here, but I kind of wanted to give you kind of a contrast to a shot with just one crystal in it to now a shot with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in it. Now, this is the shot with the most crystals in it. And they track pretty much from here onwards, because I kind of knew where the edit was going to start. So they track from here. Again, this shot is fairly boring. Like, if I solo this track, this is what it looks like. But I can give you guys a little bit of a tidbit, a little bit behind the scenes again here. Because I was filming with shaders, to achieve 100 FPS, I couldn't load all of the chunks at the same time. So at times I had to green screen things in. So there's actually a purple screening going on here because we have green crystals. We do have purple crystals as well, but I made this a different shade, more of a pinky, rather than the dark purples that are actually in. And what I did is I just chroma key this out with key light, and that basically turns this in. If I turn transparency on, you just get this result, and then I just put a black layer behind it. And then once all the other effects are on top, you don't really see kind of the edges and stuff anymore. But this happens a lot in this room, so there's a hell of a lot of green screening that had to be done for this room to achieve the full kind of expanse of this cave. If you saw yesterday's set walkthrough video I did with Phil, you can see that this room, there was a lot of trouble for, I had extreme render distance on, and I was recording with fraps, and the room just didn't want to load chunks at all. Anyway, so this is kind of all the things that go on. If I just solo this layer again, and then I show you all of the null points here. So all of these points are actually tracking for the crystals. So if you see, they are moving exactly where those crystal clusters are as we move the video on. You see that? Each one is moving. So this one here is green, this one is red, this one is blue, this one is purple, this one is green, this one is blue again, and this one is red. And all of them are individually, tracking to those points. So, yeah, if I quickly just select everything and unsolo, so then everything comes back. So there we go. That's the final shot. I mean, it's quite different from that first shot to how the final effects look. But again, it's all kind of added together. So this shot, which is actually the next shot in the sequence of the edit, is another shot where we used a lot of green screen. So if I actually show you guys the original shot, it looks like this, which is quite different. So if I turn this off, I can even turn that mask off, so you guys can actually see. This is the first plate that we got from Minecraft for this shot. All these zombies running forward to these characters. It's all just green screen behind them. And that is again because this shot has got shaders on, and I couldn't load with shaders on and the entire cave at 100 FPS. So that's just because the cave is massive. It's a lot of chunks. So what we did is, if we apply this back, put the mask back on, subtract. So I filmed this plate separately. Now this plate is a non-shaded version, all chunks loaded, and you can see the big creeper dungeon in the background here. And then everything down here basically is just being used as a plate. So when we then apply this, it's the same camera move, but now they're actually mixed together, and they actually look, the background looks good. It's not a green screen. So then with all the layers on top, we've got the red because there's some red crystals over here glowing in. We've got the nice green tones going on for the background. It all looks pretty good. So then moving on to a little bit later, we've got this shot, which is the full kind of scale of this creeper dungeon going on here. Now, I did this show about 4 or 5 different times, and now it's going to do an autosave. Thanks, After Effects. So this shot I did about 4 or 5 different times. I mean, there's a lot of different versions of this, but I'll show you this version of it, which I think is close, if not the exact one that made it into the music video. So this is the original plate that we recorded. Again, if I turn this off and I turn this off, as you can see, this is the original plate. So big green screen again, which is actually just a glowstone changed to bright green texture if anyone wanted to know. So that is kind of like what that shot is. But what we've got to do is we've got to apply the key lights to get rid of that, and then I added a mask to get rid of the sharp edges up here, and then subtracted that, and then that's what we resulted with. resulted with Speak Met. And then I added this as a background. Looks pretty good, but then you got to start adding little things to the background, like that. So we lightened it up a little bit. And then I started adding a little bit more color. You don't see much changes yet, but they're in there. And then I slowly started adding different things, different little additions to things. And then you start seeing now, I kind of brighten up that spot in the background. I add a bit of a blue to the tone, and then I tone that down. I add a tiny bit of darkness over here to match the shadowing. And there we go. And that's kind of the finished thing. So if I unsolo everything, that is the finished shot. The one in the video may appear a little bit more green. I can't remember if there was any more changes to that one. But anyway, moving much further along now to the skeleton tomb. This is where the characters have just come down in these two minecarts you can see behind them right here. And there's this horde of skeletons coming towards them. Again, this is really, you can see the mob dismemberment kind of happening right here and here as they get killed. This is a really cool mod. But it caused a lot of issues. When I was using it in conjunction with shaders and the animated player mod, we'd get something which, between me and the cast of characters that were playing all these different mobs and the characters you see, it became known as Blackfoot. Now I don't know if I've got footage of this. Hopefully I've got at least some images of this to show you guys. But what Blackfoot is it actually is like a certain part of the player model would just turn black for no reason. And the only way I could fix it is to either fully restart my PC or just take off the mob dismemberment mod. So some of these shots are actually filmed completely without the mob dismemberment turned on. Sometimes we're lucky and we didn't get it happening here. But just look how badass this looks. It looks so cool with the animated joints and everything. I really like it. And it's a really cool shot. It's not a lot of layers if you see in comparison to the other like compositions I've shown you with the crystals on. There's a lot more going on. The original shot looks like that, not too different, but it is a tiny bit too dark. And I wanted to give it a bit more earthly, fleshy kind of bone textures and bone colors to it. Just because this is a skeleton tomb, so kind of made it a little bit more yellow and boosted the colors, and gave it a bit of glow, and that's what it ended up like. Later on in the skeleton tomb, this happens, which is an amazing shot. I really like this shot. But it actually started off like this. Now, we talked about this in yesterday's video a little bit, that the entire floor recesses. This is actually Phil playing this character right here. And he had a command typed which actually activated the floor to drop down. And then we had someone hiding behind here who then floods this lava in. In the final video, it's actually sped up quite a lot just to fit it in with the beat of the music. But it's pretty interesting. Again, looks like that in Minecraft, and the start looks like this. So, quite a lot happening there. Because the original shot starts with those earthly tones and the bone kind of textury tones from the skeleton tomb normally. But then slowly, this top layer here starts to come in and starts to add this orange. Now, if we don't have that, it's just these kind of whites and yellows kind of coming through. But with this we have reds and oranges boosting through, which are pretty nice. I like them. And also these ender crystals, a little tidbit, are spawned in with a plugin. It was an idea I had fairly late to kind of make it look a bit more like a boss, because obviously Minecraft players relate those ender crystals or these these floating orbs to the ender dragon. So I thought it would signify to Minecraft players that this is some sort of boss or something like that. So hopefully that came across. It was another idea we had when building. So again, if you want to know more about the building process and kind of how all these sets look, go watch yesterday's behind the scenes video. Okay, so to end things off, I've had a lot of questions about how the credits were made and how they look and things like that. So this is one of the credit scenes. It's the first one where it says lyrics and vocals Aurelian. If I wanted to, I could just solo this layer. And I could say, like, turn this layer to hello, and then change this to YouTube, because that's you guys. And then let's just center this, center it completely. And then all I'd have to do is then unhide all the layers, and there we go. Hello, YouTube. That's just the amazing way that Element 3D works, and that's one of the plugins I use to create this 3D text. But let me revert that back to lyrics and vocals by Aurelian, and show you guys this shot a little bit more, because there is a lot going on in this shot. So to start with, the shot looks like this. I mean, we've got this little pig down in the corner doing his thing, And we've got these characters that walk out of the cave with the torches on, then turn the torches off when they exit the cave. And we've got the sun very slightly up here going up. And you see I've got actually a light kind of off in the distance that's creating that same light simulation, so that falls directly onto the this text. So the light moves and it actually casts different light on here. But you see here, without all the other layers, the text doesn't look great. I mean, it looks a little bit too blue. Other than that, it fits quite nicely. But I'll talk a little bit more about how this kind of look is achieved with Element 3D, which is a great plugin. So you put the text in, you choose it as a custom layer, and then this opens up. This is the Element 3D kind of layer, and then they give you kind of this extrusion model that comes out, and then this is kind of the 3D text you now have to play with in After Effects. And I chose this kind of bezel style and everything. I thought I quite liked it. I made it for one of the previous things. It's an edited version of one of the presets that come with the plugin. I made it for another trailer, and I edited it up a little bit. You can see the back so dodgy, but again, it's only the front that matters. And then there's actually a plane here. If I click on the material and hide it, you'll see the plane. This is the plane, but I have it set to a matte shadow, so that it only casts shadows, and that's what this is underneath. So, for example, if I turned that layer off, you'll see that this shadow just disappears completely, and that's caused by ambient occlusion in the 3D model. If people don't know what that is, if you guys play PC games quite a lot, you might know what ambient occlusion is, but it's AO, and if I enable and disable it, you can see it makes quite a lot of difference adding that in there. But anyway, let's show this again with now all of the effects on. See, it merges a lot better. I've got a lens flare in there, which is from the Optical Flares pack, again from Video Copilot, some people who do Element 3D. And that's just what this looks like. It is tracked, so it slightly moves from here up to match the actual sun. And again, altogether it looks pretty amazing. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Again, that's without all the additional kind of color correction. And then that's with. I really like it with. It's kind of very morning sun-like. And then here is the slide I made for my name. Well, I made all of this, but yeah. So one thing I just wanted to point out here is the reflection. And again, there is a lens flare doing what it does best in the background there. And a little cow. A white and black cow, because there's something, you know, that style of kind of, you know, white and black like this, I don't see much in Minecraft, so I kind of like that patchy white and black cow, so I put that in there. And then we of course have after this the Approaching Nirvana slide, which I went through a lot of different versions with, because if you look at like the way it's set up and the way it lays, it doesn't match the grass perfectly and things like that. But what it does do is this here, this red flower actually does go in front perfectly with no issues, and these little chickens. This chicken actually right here is actually hand masked. So I actually hand keyframed him to be on top of this layer. You'll see that matches up pretty closely. Again, it's all in there. Again, the original shot looked like that. And then there's not too much changes with this shot, because again, it already looked pretty good outside with the shaders on. And then one final shot here is the set design and construction by all of us here at FyreUK. And they're kind of the two differences. Again, not too much difference, but it's there. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And I will leave you guys with some more bloopers. There were some funny things that happened in filming, and some shots we didn't use, so I thought I'd include those for you guys to have a look at. These will all be unedited, obviously raw footage from Minecraft, so hopefully you guys enjoy them and you've enjoyed what you've seen. If you thought this was at all interesting, please let me know. I haven't really done a behind the scenes of how I do kind of special effectsy stuff. It's usually a lot more organized than this, but again, tight deadlines to reach, so I had to kind of get things going. But I'm really happy with how it turned out, and hopefully you guys really liked the music video, so go check it out. I hope that you all enjoyed it for the fact that it's a Minecraft in-game music video rather than an animated piece, because that's something I really wanted to kind of get across, is that it's kind of a machinima piece, you know, an in-game story of sorts. It's not just a music video, and it's not just some sort of animation. It's a in-game story that's being told with a music behind it, and I hope that came across, because it's been hard working on it to the point where it's at, and getting it all kind of together and be understandable. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. So yeah, make sure you go check out the music video, and thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you check out yesterday's set tour behind the scenes video if you want to know a little bit more about the sets in the music video as well. So, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!